Sanbonani Dumelang, hello, how's everyone today? I am Lesedi Mfolo and I welcome you to yet another Easy Equities webinar. Today I'm very excited to be here with all of you, and shout out to Almero and Adriano for joining me. There's a lot of things happening at Purple HQ, and as you know that we've just released the new Easy Equities app, and that's why we're here. And also the Purple Group share price is doing the things. But remember, if you're looking for financial advice that was not financial advice, please consult your financial advisor. Today I've got my closest mates helping me out just to unbundle the new Easy Equities app. And if you have any questions for us, just hit the Q&A section at the bottom, and either Stando or Gonalo will answer your questions, or I will ask them live on the webinar. Thank you for everyone joining us from home, from the office, and for those of you who are watching it later on YouTube, thank you big time. And so let me not waste any time and get straight into it and welcome the head honcho of UX at Purple Group / Easy Equities, Almero Oosthuizen. How's it?
Hi, Lesedi. How's it at Lesedi, and how's it everyone listening in to us?
Awesome, awesome. So how are you feeling this morning, knowing that you are getting so much love with your new UX on the Easy Equities app?
Yeah, it's really rewarding to get to see the feedback from our customers. I think the update to the app was a little bit overdue, I guess. So we've gone through a few iterations on Easy Equities in the last 6 years. It's been 6 years, and the people that joined us 6 years ago would, I don't know if they still remember, but if they do, the interface looked quite significantly different to what it looked like today. So we constantly try and make little updates to the platform functionality, the UX, the UI, and one of the things that really needed an update was the app. And I'm very happy to say that the new app is here. It's live. It's getting some love from customers. And yeah, it's definitely still just the beginning. There's lots of cool new things that we're working on for the future as well. But I'm quite chuffed where we're at now. And like I said, I think customers are also happy to see a facelift on the app.
Awesome, awesome. And you know, it's true that the customers are loving the new app. We saw yesterday on Twitter, we saw yesterday on Facebook as well, that everyone's raving about it. So I just wanted to ask, you know, when I've interviewed Charles once and I asked him when he started Easy Equities and he wanted to democratize the investment landscape in South Africa. Was he crazy? So I ask you the same question today. Were you crazy deciding to change the face of investing in South Africa?
No, I don't think it was crazy at all. I think there was a massive need for people to engage with a stockbroker that's sort of open, transparent, friendly, good user experience. I think, and Charles also mentions this quite often, is like if you ask anyone in the street, do you want to own shares in the stock market or in a company or own a part of a company? The answer is always overwhelmingly yes. And then if you follow up that question with, do you currently own shares? Most of the time it's no. And then you start unpacking why it's no. You basically get to all these barriers that people face when they try to invest in the past, pre-Easy Equities. So I think there was always a demand and a need and a desire for people to start investing in the stock market and take ownership of their wealth and their financial journey. I just think that the interfaces wasn't necessarily that friendly in the past. And also it was very expensive in the past. So not just the interfaces wasn't friendly, but also cost was an inhibiting factor for people to start participating in investment. And it wasn't really that mainstream. And also stockbrokers of the past made you feel stupid. I mean, like a lot of people, I've got friends that are CAs and actuaries, and they don't invest necessarily because they feel they're not clever enough to do that. It's because the industry made people feel stupid about investing. And it was convoluted with jargon and interfaces that was, you know, cockpits to fly Boeing as opposed to what we see today. So no, I don't think it was quite a long answer to your question, but I don't think it was crazy at all. And I mean, if we look at the growth of our customers and how many people are starting to invest, I mean, we've got 6-7-year-old kids starting to invest, using their pocket money to invest on the platform, all the way through to 92-year-old Gorgos that have never actually had the opportunity to invest and are now investing on the platform, and everyone in between. I think it's definitely addressing a need that was there. And also, I mean, we're opening anything between 800 and 1,000 accounts a day at the moment. So yeah, as this thing snowballs a bit, I mean, and people get to know about easy equities and get exposed to easy equities, it just continues, and it affirms the fact that there's a need for an investment solution like this.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer, Al. And for all of you people that are joining us right now, you're not late. We're still with Almero and Adriano. If you have any questions, hit the Q&A section below and we'll get to them. So you touched a lot on the people and the community. Would you say that was the inspiration behind gamifying this new Easy Equities app, making it so much easier to touch and feel and to have everything nested on basically one page? I know a big friction point for a lot of our users was the fact that they had to use the account selector to switch between their portfolios and to see their total return. They had to use Excel spreadsheets, and now you've gone away with all of that. So what was the inspiration behind the new UX on the Easy app?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually something that we wanted to bring that live quite a long time ago already, like a single view of all your assets in a single, page. And we've had some technical difficulties in the past to actually expose that, but now managed to crack it now. And that's definitely a big plus of the new app, is to be able to see a full portfolio view of all your underlying assets. It also does a conversion if you've got shares and assets inside US or AUD. It does a currency conversion for you, and that rate updates every hour. So you can see that on the page. I'll share the screen in a second and we can talk through that. But yeah, I think that's definitely a big plus. And also the way that we've designed it enables us to add, when we're looking at bringing on other exchanges and other investment opportunities onto the platform. So Europe is one that we're working on now, the UK. So as we expose additional Asia, as we expose additional exchanges, additional shares and investment opportunities, it's quite easy just to add it into these cards and have that single view. Also, if you're not a rand denominated client, obviously the total value will be in dollars. So you can have a US dollar and an Australian dollar account, and then it sums it up into US dollars if you choose, or Aussie dollars, depending on what your primary currency is. So that's quite a neat piece of functionality in that. And it's definitely addressing a big need that we've seen from customers.
That's awesome, Al. If you guys just missed what Al just said, he just released the tea that we are going into China soon, doing many things in Europe as I'll adding them to the platform. So don't miss out, stay tuned. And we are excited to go on this journey with you. And so, Al, you did mention that you have a little presentation, if I can call it that, to show the users with the new features and everything that the users are loving. And you're just gonna dissect it a bit for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen so we can talk through it. I've got it open here. And then we can maybe just talk through some of the functionality and the updates. So let me know when you guys can see my, like the city, let me know when you see my screen.
Yeah, I see a screen.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So yeah, so this is obviously the new portfolio overview. And as I mentioned, we've got these cards here that represent your different trust accounts or your different currencies. And you can drill down into these. I also mentioned that we do a currency conversion here on your foreign currency. So in this account, I've got $215, and that's in rand terms at 3,619 rands. And there I can see the rate. That's the current rate. Like I said, it updates hourly. And then I can also see my other accounts, my Easy RA account. I can see my Easy Properties account. So Easy Properties, the values of Easy Properties will be pulling through into here pretty soon as well. And then your demo accounts at the bottom. The other things you can do is you can activate and deactivate some of these accounts as well. So you might not want to ever see your US dollar demo account. And then you can come to your account activation screen, and there I've currently got it turned off, so I can go and turn that on again now. And obviously you can't deactivate an account that you currently have money in, because we want to keep those accounts live. But if you've got any account that you don't have money in, you can deactivate, and then over and above that, obviously, you can deactivate and activate demo, both on US dollar and rands. So that's a neat little feature that's available inside the platform now. The other thing that I really like about the new interface is the ability to actually have a watch list across all my different global watch lists. That shows me my my stocks that I'm watching across all my different types of accounts. And you'll see there's a little line on the left-hand side here just to show me which account that stock is associated with. So this is my ZAR account, is that little red line. I've got TFSA, I've got US dollar here, and then I've got Australia, my Australian account here. So I can just quickly, and this is actually what I use most now, if I just want to quickly have a snapshot of what's happening in the market with the stocks that I'm watching. It's a quick, easy way to just navigate to my watch list. I can then actually click on the actual stock. So let's click on purple. And to add anything to your watch list, you just highlight that little star. So there, I've taken it out of my watch list and added it back into my watch list there. And then we've obviously updated the trade ticket quite significantly. So for people that are just starting out, so there was, when we did the UX, we had to keep a fine balance between sophisticated users, or say semi-sophisticated users that have been with us for the last 6 years, that have sort of grown up with the platform and experienced the platform from the early days. And as they've got more comfortable, and they essentially have become more sophisticated. So we had to fulfill that demand, but also at the same time, consider the fact that on a daily basis, there are customers joining the platform that has never been investing for themselves ever before. So you want to keep a balance about giving enough on the sophistication side, but also enough on the dumber down side, and have that balance between the two interfaces. So yeah, we think we got it sort of right, 90% right. We never get it 100% right, and we obviously welcome feedback from our customers all the time to get it right, to increase the functionality on the interface even more. So one of the things that we actually introduced, and some of the users will have that now, is the ability to have a snapshot price update. So you can request a live price by clicking this button here, and you'll see there my price is just updated to the latest available price. And it costs me 2 credits. So we have to charge for it. It's actually the exchange that charge for live prices. So we're obliged to charge for that. But 2 credits, I think it works out to be I think it's about 10 to 12 cents a credit, or 10 to 12 cents a live price update. And you can then go buy credits by clicking on this button, and there's, you can buy 80 credits for 10 Rand, and you can buy it obviously in different currencies as well. There's a few different credit options here. It's a bit like buying airtime. And in future, we're looking at making these credits available for other things in the platform as well. So potentially in future, you can buy research with your credits. So credits becomes a currency within the platform. We will in future explore even further. So that's something that customers have been asking for a long time. For the basic investor that wants to buy, let's say, a piece of purple or a piece of Naspers, and they've got a long-term view, whether the price is 1 cent or 2 cent different between the 15-minute delayed price and the live price, it doesn't really matter to those guys because they've got a long-term view. But there are users that are price sensitive, and we want to expose the most recent price to those guys. So we've created this functionality in there. Users can use it if they want to. They don't have to use it, but we will be exposing this functionality to all the users on the platform within the next 2 weeks. So we've tested it with a selected few users at the moment, and users that have asked to opt into this functionality, but soon it'll be available to everyone in the platform. And then we've changed the look and feel here in terms of how the trade ticket is stacked in terms of the information available. So we've hidden the price at the top here. So as you scroll, you'll see the price actually goes and it gets pinned at the top, which is nice because most people just want to, especially when you get to the value allocation section at the bottom here, you want to understand exactly still where you're buying. And if I want to do another price update, I can still do it like that. And then we've also added the ability for you to buy a number of shares as opposed to just value. which is also a new piece of functionality. So in the past, we just let you buy in value, but some clients also indicated they want to buy an X number of shares as opposed to value. So I can put in here, actually, I want to buy 50 shares, and then my value to buy that 50 shares will update automatically. Then if you scroll further down, you'll notice some people might have activated this at the moment, and some others might not. I'll show you how to activate the order types. So this is also something that came from customers, where customers have indicated that sometimes when they buy, especially when they buy on a when they look at the price and it's 15-minute delayed, the price that they buy at, because you always buy at the live price, might have moved. And this was specifically apparent a few months ago when Sasol was so actively traded and very volatile. So Sasol's prices could move anything between 2 and 5% within minutes, and in fact seconds. And often users were thinking they were getting in at a specific price, but they might have not got into that price. So we've created this simple, we call it a basic order functionality. So you can buy at the market order, which essentially would buy at the best available price in the market at the time of buying. Or you can say that I only want to buy when the ask or the offer is at 85 cents or smaller. So if the market, while I was looking at the screen and the market, let's say purple's now moved to 90 cents, but I actually just wanted to buy at 85. This gives me the ability to make sure that I'll always buy at 85 cents. So I can place that order, and I'll show you what that order functionality looks like in a second. So that's quite a neat little feature. I'll quickly show you how to activate that, because some people might have seen it and others haven't. If you go to your profile menu over here, and you go to account preferences, and then at the bottom of account preferences, you can go to order types. And inside order types, normally you would just your account would be set to use the default order type, which always just buys at the market order. But you can activate basic orders. You'll see here, we've also got advanced orders. This is something that some of the more sophisticated users have been asking for also for a while. It is something that we're working on. So we've already indicated that that's coming, and advanced orders, just to maybe talk to that quickly. It's not necessarily for everyone, but advanced orders let you actually set a price that you want to buy. So the basic orders, we set a predetermined price based on the ask that you see on the screen. But with advanced orders, you'll be able to overwrite that and put your own price in. So if I say only buy purple when it trades at 65 cents, in an advanced order, I'll be able to do that. So yeah, so we're working on that. There's quite a few nuances there that we have to consider. So it's not something that we could just turn on and it's easy for customers to expose, or easy for us to expose to customers, but there's definitely something for the future that we're considering and sort of working on at the moment. Then I'll quickly go to this Invest Now page. So for now, Invest Now page, you can, obviously I've already been in my Easy Equities account, so I can now decide which account I want to invest in. So this is sort of taken out that account slider that users were used to. So I can at this point say, well, I want to go to my US dollar account. And then, well, I'll just pause on this page quickly. So this is also something that a few users have highlighted post the launch of the app. So they felt like we've taken away the categories. So I don't know if you remember, or in the desktop interface, you can actually see the different categories in terms of or sectors that you can invest in. Don't worry, we're working on this page. So there will be an update to this page in the next few weeks, and we're making this page even more user friendly. We were just excited about getting the app out as soon as possible. But yeah, we haven't forgotten about the users that have indicated that they want to have a more curated page here. So this is something that we're working on, and I'm sure there will be questions around that. But alternatively, you can actually just, if you've got a specific share that you're looking for, you just type it in. The search works really well, and I can click on Apple, and inside, currently obviously the market's closed. US market only opened this afternoon. But I can place an order inside Apple at the moment. So I'll quickly show you what it looks like. So let's just go and place an order. I'm going to do just $1 of Apple, and I'm going to buy it as a limit order. So I place my order, and there it's gone through. I can now go and see my pending buy instructions. So some of you would have seen that there's a little button. You've got your holdings here, then you've got your pending buy instructions and your transactions. And then inside my pending buy instructions, I can see these orders that are pending, which would, some of them might trigger when the market, I've got two, I've got a market buy on Apple and I've got a limit buy on Apple. And if I click on that, it'll show me exactly what it is, the trade amount, the transaction costs, and when I place that order. And at this point, I can now, if I feel like actually I don't want to, before the market's open, I've now placed a limit order, I don't want this market order anymore, I can cancel this order over here. And I said yes, I want to cancel that order. If I go to my pending instructions now, you'll see I've only got the one left and the limit order there. So that's yeah, it's a new feature. Some users might have spotted it, and that's also something that we're going to build on in the future and make that functionality even more user-friendly and more overarching in terms of what you can do inside orders. You'll notice when we don't actively promote the order functionality, because like I said, this is order is not something that a first-time investor necessarily know about or want to know about off the bat. So we don't want to put too many things in front of a first-time investor. But if you actually go and drill down into those things, you can activate that functionality, which is pretty cool. Yeah, notifications is quite cool in the app as well. So inside notifications, we've got push notifications, which have been running for a little while already. It was part of the old app as well, but that's also getting better. Another piece of functionality that users have been asking for that we are working on that should be coming soon as well as alerts. So users might be able to, or will be able to potentially put alerts into specific shares. So when a share, they can put an alert in to get alerted when a share reaches a certain price. And alerts will also live with notifications. So you would get a push notification to your app once the stock has reached that price, and you can then open the app, obviously, and if you want to buy or sell, you can action that from the app. So keep an eye out. We'll obviously notify users when alerts will be going live, but that's something that we're working on actively as well. And then some of the My Funds functionality, we did an update inside the My Funds section a few months ago in desktop. So that's part of this is already exposed in desktop, but it actually works quite well inside mobile. You can transfer between accounts. You can obviously do FX transfers, and you can withdraw from here as well. So you can choose which account you want to withdraw with. We've got early settlement, and all those things that you see on desktop is also available inside mobile. Yeah, so that's, I mean, that's a quick view of what the current functionality looks like in the new mobile app. I mean, I welcome users to go and play around and sort of explore for themselves as well. And then and as always, we welcome feedback from customers. 99% of what we do inside UX and UI is around what customers want. So yeah, we literally, all our decisions are driven based on customer feedback and what customers want. And one of the most popular places, obviously, for customers to engage with us is Twitter and Facebook. So social media is where we engage with our customers a lot. But we're also working on a solution where we want to build an interface for customers to actually get exposure to what our roadmap looks like, so they can see what kind of stuff is coming soon. We also want to create a destination for customers to be able to go and post this feedback, recommendations, etc. And also often customers ask for additional stock, specifically in the US currency. So we're also working on a destination where customers can provide us with their user voice in a more structured manner. And they can track progress of how we're progressing on some of those questions that they're posting and functionality they're requesting. So I'm quite excited about that. We'll also use that piece of, or that interface, to invite customers to participate potentially in certain beta releases. So when we're testing some of our functionality, if customers are happy to participate in that, we would invite them to, indicate whether they want to participate in our testing phases as well, which would be really nice to get real customer feedback on. We do that from time to time in any case, but the more customer feedback you get on new releases, the better, I guess. So that's also a nice piece of new functionality that we're looking at for the future. Something that I also wanted to touch on, I mean, I know we're talking about app today, but a lot of customers have also asked about the desktop version, like what's happening there. Are we going to see an update on desktop? So we've been obviously making lots of updates inside desktop over the last few months and years, and some of them become sort of more incremental instead of a big update that changes the interface completely. So yeah, sometimes customers, I think, tend to forget that there's small updates that we make all the time. But we are working on a update for desktop that would translate some of this mobile stuff that we're doing as well. So I shouldn't really show you anything there, but I think it might be worth just to give you a glimpse of like desktop updates what we're looking at. So we really want to bring this card view into desktop as well, for a user to be able to flip between his accounts or her accounts through this view. And this would potentially be what a overview page would look like. So you would drill down into a specific trust account. You would then see these additional cards that's associated with this trust account. This could be customizable for a user. So a user will be able to move these cards around, delete some of them if they want to see some of them, if they don't think it's important. So I can see my orders here. We're also looking at other products, loans and life insurance, which we've alluded to in the past. And then a user would basically flip between their accounts in this way. And then, so that's tax-free savings. And the other thing that we're working on actively is really to emphasize the difference between sort of DIY investing versus the managed investing stuff that we do and the goals stuff that we do. So, so users will be able to flip between, so this, I can go into my goals. I can see my Murphy goals in here as well, which is something that we're working on updating as well. So the Murphy interface is currently being worked on. So we want to make that a lot better. We've neglected it a little bit over the last few months. But our future scope is really to have a platform capability that focuses on not just on DIY, but managed and goals as well, which is essentially advised. And inside the managed space, we're excited. We're going to be launching some unit trusts soon, some of the big name unit trusts, so Allan Gray, Coronation, Fort, and a few others are coming onto the platform. And we're starting with the unit trust inside your RA account. So that's going to be really cool, and we'll have more information about that in the future. But yeah, so this is sort of what we're looking at inside desktop. This is not final, so don't hold us by this, but you'll be able to see what portion of my portfolio here is associated with my DIY investments, how much is associated with my managed investments and my goals, and how much free cash do I have, and really focusing on making that something that users can really benefit from. We also know, because we know that users aren't always sitting in the same channel when it comes to investing. So some users might focus a lot on the DIY side because they've got lots of time on their hands and they're young and they've got lots of know-how. But we also have users that want to do a little bit by themselves, so they activate DIY and buy a few shares, but maybe have the bulk of their money sitting with a manager. And then we've got other users at the same time that you want to save towards a goal, whether it's a car, a house, a holiday, and have those like short-term and long-term goals in the same place as well. So what we're creating is we want to create a platform solution that's transient in the way that we present it to customers, so that if you want to focus on a little bit of each of those pillars, you can, and you can still have a single view of all of those things. And I think there's platforms like global platforms that do those pillars really well. So for instance, Robinhood, obviously one of the most famous DIY investment platforms in the world, but they don't have any, robo advice inside Robinhood. And there you probably find that globally Betterment or Wealthfront or one of those platforms are probably one of the leaders. And then on the managed side, there's one or two. In fact, the sort of managed platforms globally, M1 is probably one that stands out, and there's one or two others. But there's no one globally actually that does all of it in a single interface. And I think that's where we feel that we can attack that as a differentiator, and have a single platform interface that deals not just with DIY investing, but also advice and a managed investment in a single interface. So we're quite excited about that. That's something, and that's been our goal for quite some time now. And lots of these little pieces of new or UX that we're doing with that in mind. So that's also why things take a little bit longer. It's not about just putting a fix in or creating an update to an interface. It is about looking at the future and making sure that what we're doing now will also work with when we've got other products on the platform. So for instance, this little card view interface works well. So if we ever had to, let's say, put a transactional account, so that looks more like a bank account, we can also slot this into here as well. So yeah, that's basically our philosophy with UX in the platform. It's not just thinking about the now, but also thinking about the future and how the platform would behave in future. Yeah. Any questions?
Awesome, Al. You touched on a lot there, and I hope all our users absorbed all that information that you gave us. And you saw that Al released a lot of tea there, and there's a lot coming to the Easy Equities platform. So stay with us, and we will try get to all your needs. Remember, we keep your feedback very close to our heart, and we build this platform for you, as Al alluded to. So Al, tell me, you touched on the cards, the nested portfolio, all in one page. You touched on the watch list, and a lot of things, as well as the preferences. What would you say is your favorite feature on this current app?
Yeah, I think for me, it must be sort of the global watch list. Yeah, just I think in the past it was a bit of a journey to get to a specific share that you're interested in, that you want to follow. So you'd have to go to the Invest Now page, you'd have to go and then search for it, or click on one of the categories and then find it, and then click on the share and then get to the price. So there was quite a few clicks before you get to solving, that need. Whereas currently I can open the app literally in a second. I can click on my watch list and I can immediately see the price of the specific share that I'm checking out. And then if I want to buy from there, it's just one click to buy as well. So I think, for me, one of the real cool features is the watch list. And then obviously also just being able to see my account value as a, sort of a holistic view of all my accounts together is also very lucky. I can see, I don't have to necessarily, I like checking in every now and again on my app, just to see what's happening, where the markets are pushing my account. So just to have a quick snapshot view of my account value is also very lucky.
Awesome, Al. Thank you so much for that deep insight on the app. We really appreciate you coming through. I've got one question from a user that's asking, when are we getting stop losses on buying individual shares?
Yeah, so that's, I alluded to the advanced order functionality, which we're working on at the moment. So yeah, and I know we've been asked the same question. I've been asked the same question on Twitter about a month ago, and I said, and my response was, "It's coming soon." It's still coming soon. So it is, like I mentioned. I mean, it's not something that we can just turn on overnight. There's a lot of variables to consider as well in the platform for turning those on. So the nice thing is that the capability is now there. So the fact that we've actually got limit orders that are pre-filled limit orders, the functionality is 99% there. you know, we've built from a tech perspective, we've built the functionality to enable things like stop losses and take profits and etc. So limit orders essentially, break orders and stop orders. So I think, yeah, I don't want to give it a specific time, but I can just tell the user, yes, it is definitely something that's high on our agenda. It's definitely something that we're working on and testing at the moment. And we're hoping to have it available inside the platform, yeah, real soon. There's quite a few users now asking for that. And it was also one of those things that we had to consider, like, because when we build Easy Equities, like I said, we wanted to build Easy Equities to really serve a user base across the spectrum. So anything from a sophisticated user eventually to a first-time investor. So we were quite conscious of the fact that we didn't want to expose things like, you know, stop losses and take profits and those kind of order functionality to a user that's never actually bought a share in his life. So it's a fine balance between the two, but yes, we've recognized also that we've got these users that demands more functionality and more sophistication, and it's about also serving those users and making sure that they stay on the platform. So yeah, it's coming.
Awesome. As you heard it, advanced orders are coming, stop losses are coming, but you can still stay with the Purple family. Remember, we've got GT247 that's the house for all the advanced traders. Remember, Easy Equities is for investing, and GT247, our sister company, is for trading. I'd just like to thank Al so much for joining me right now. I'm going to switch over to my fellow Southboy, Adriano, who is inside the Intellect Dev team, and they are basically the people that do all the hot stuff that I can't do. So welcome, AD. How are you doing? I see you combed your hair.
Yeah, man, managed to finally get a haircut after quite a while, but yeah, managed to get it done. Yeah, no, keen to talk about some of the tech behind the platform, and yeah, I think it's really going to be pretty cool.
Awesome. You know, it's very rare to have one of the dev guys on a easy webinar, because everyone feels like you guys live in this bubble and everyone can't come to you guys, you know. But I'm so glad that you're joining us today. And let's start at the beginning. Like, what is a senior developer or software developer for users that don't know?
So yeah, so basically, obviously, a software developer is the person that, you know, typically obviously takes the designs, the UX, the business analysis. They take the sort of business problem and they convert it into, you know, working code, which integrates with a bunch of backend systems. It does a bunch of stuff. You know, so that's typically, you know, what a developer is doing. It's kind of across the board. You know, some projects are broken down. There's more front-end developers, there's more back-end developers. You know, here it's kind of, you know, someone senior at Easy Equities is very much a jack of all trades. Like you're getting involved with solving business problems. You know, you're looking at prod issues. You're kind of all over the place. You know, you're participating in solution designs. You're doing a little bit of everything here. So yeah, so pretty much senior software developer is just sort of focusing more on zooming out and solving the bigger business problems and implementing it in code. And, you know, obviously working closely with, you know, the likes of Almero and like, you know, the business, the UX people, client engagement, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what we're about here.
Awesome. And after you know, seeing all the love you've been receiving on the social platforms and all of that, do you think it was worth it not getting your hair cut and spending so much time with Al?
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, Almero, like, it's a tough act to follow. Almero's.
You love spending time with me. What are you talking about?
No, it's been great. It's been an awesome journey. It's been really interesting. You know, taking the designs and, you know, trying to sort of get it coded and get it working on like an actual website. Like it's you know, it's definitely a journey to sort of get that done. But no, 100%, it's definitely been worth it. It's obviously been a real lift for all of us in you know, these abnormal times. You know, there's been like several stakeholders involved up and down the board. You know, it's, you know, my team on the mobile side, it's pretty much been myself, and then, you know, two of our graduate engineers. So obviously shout out to, you know, Brendan and Lydia, like they've done a great job. And, you know, while we are all, you know, discussing solution designs and whatnot, they're the ones grafting and, you know, really smashing the tickets and smashing the bugs and making sure that it runs smoothly. So, and then obviously just, yeah, UX people, brand marketing, client engagements, you know, everyone, the face of the business. I think it's just been a real boost for everyone to.
Yeah, I must add there, let's see, that developers have done a great job on this. I mean, they were super on the ball, and yeah, we had a great sort of project together on this project, and hoping to continue this with the team. So yeah, it was big ups to them. They often, so most of the time, just the front end that gets the kudos, but the developers are actually putting all of this into motion and into workable code. So big up to them.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. Big up to you guys, AD.
Cheers, thanks.
You know, I can assume that it took a lot of time to get this app in front of our Easy Investors. And I'd just like to ask, how long did it take you, and how many hours did you spend in developing on this app?
Ooh, yeah.
We're not allowed to say.
So obviously,
we're not allowed to say, because if you say anything, then they're going to, users are going to come back and say the coming soon is now pushed out maybe by 18 to 24 months.
Okay, give us a politician's answer.
Yeah, obviously I won't, yeah, look, all I said is definitely a lot of graft, a lot of, like you said, the things that the users don't see, is kind of where a lot of the time is spent. You know, obviously from a tech perspective, there's, you know, that portfolio dashboard, as Almero was saying, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes there. You know, we've partnered with, you know, several stakeholders and vendors to really just help us from a back-end perspective to ensure that portfolio screen is, you know, running smoothly and making sure that people are able to see that overview. So, like, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, when you see the finished product, you might think it took a certain number of, you know, weeks or months, but you can probably take that and times it by a few times, and that's probably how long it actually took, just because of all the various sort of components that need to talk to each other and function smoothly from a systems perspective.
I mean, maybe also to add, I mean, the Easy Equities platform is a fairly complex solution. And there's lots of different variables to consider. So we've got partners on the platform as well. We've got different products on the platform. So we have to be careful always, like if we change one thing on the one, how does it affect some of the other places that are exposed? And we've got mobile, we've got desktop, we've got, you know, Easy Properties, we've got Satrix. So there's lots of, I mean, variables that you juggle all the time when you make changes to the platforms. It's not just a single channel pack platform, which I think makes it harder as well to make updates and functionality, include additional functionality features.
100%, yeah. Couldn't have said it better, yeah.
So AD, what were the limitations you wanted to address from Easy 1.0?
Yeah, so obviously Almero's, you know, pretty much given a comprehensive outline of what the business wanted to achieve from V1 to V2. Obviously, just from a technical side, like definitely one of the aspects that we wanted to address was obviously speed and performance. You know, I have seen a couple of pieces of, you know, feedback on social media and stuff, which, you know, we obviously love and appreciate, where people are kind of like, oh, but you know, the app's still not native, it's still not as smooth as it can be. And yeah, we hear that, but you know, I think ultimately, we went with a web app because it came with certain benefits, and we stuck with the philosophy of the web app, and it had a lot of advantages for us. You know, I mean, like for example, getting our app onto the Huawei app gallery. You know, this is something that a lot of businesses are like struggling with. You know, Huawei is currently selling a lot of devices, and you know, they're gradually losing access to existing app stores, to Google via sanctions and whatnot. So, you know, from our perspective, because it's a web app, because it lives in HTML and JavaScript for the more technical minded, it was, you know, quite simple to just move it over and just let it live wherever it needs to live. So it was very intentional, and you know, I'm really happy with how it came out. Just obviously from a technical perspective, the V2 app just makes a lot less calls and fetches less data overall than the V1 app did. I mean, from a user perspective, every time you click a button, it's doing less basically, which means it's consuming less data, it's taking less time, and that's sort of the clean feel that people are noticing. I believe anyway. I believe what they're noticing is there's just less going on in what you're seeing from a design perspective, but then also just from a technical perspective, what's happening when you actually, click that button to do something. But obviously, there's still a lot of work to do on that front. Like that's, but I am quite happy with like the tech upgrades that have happened so far. And I think like the new touch point, the portfolio dashboard has held up really well. Like I think it's done really well, and it's, people have been hitting that thing really hard. And I think it's really held up quite well. It's been able to present the data to the user, pretty effectively. And I've got my large block of wood in my hand right now because I'm touching wood. Because as I say that, something might go wrong. So I'm firmly got my hand on my wooden desk at the moment. But I know at the moment it's going well.
Awesome. And we just like to say, big ups for the dev behind the app. You guys don't get enough credits, and you guys did an amazing job. And I just like to, like I asked, what's the best feature on the app for you?
So obviously I'm an Easy Equities user first. I mean, I used Easy Equities before I joined Easy Equities, the Easy Equities project. And yeah, I'll be honest, I was one of those users when the app came out. I was kind of just like, as a more developer minded person, and I'm definitely not alone here. Like a lot of sort of dev minded guys were like, oof, but I mean, like you kind of just took the desktop site and you just wrapped it in an app. So, from my perspective, I was just very chuffed to see something that's custom mobile, to just see something that's like tailored for the mobile user and the mobile experience. So, obviously everything that Almero mentioned, the portfolio page, the watch list, all that kind of stuff, just tying into basically giving the user more information with less screen space. That's basically my number one feature.
Awesome. So you heard it, guys. There's a lot of work that went into this, and we've opened up the question to you guys as well. So if you go to our Twitter page, there's a competition running. We're giving you 750 into your tax-free savings account, and all you have to do is tell us what's your favorite feature of the new app and hashtag Easy Equities, and you might be the lucky winner. So let's test your knowledge, AD. How many new features have you guys added to the V2 app?
Okay, so I thought about this one. So it depends like how you break it down. I mean, like if you go sort of page by page, I mean, it's probably like maybe 5 or 6 new features. But obviously from Almero's demo, like you could easily say like over 10. If you start adding the limit orders, if you start adding the new order management stuff in. So yeah, I mean, it's the core stuff is obviously that portfolio dashboard, the global watch list page, the new simplified invest now page. And then obviously just the mobile friendliness and the buy and sell pages, giving you sort of a better idea of what you're buying, the live pricing and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's probably somewhere between 5 and 10, but could go over 10 depending on how you count.
I think it's more than 10, yeah.
Yeah, we could probably sit and argue for days about how many new features there are. But
it's definitely a few of them. I mean, it was hard. It's hard already trying to market everything that's out there for the users to use. But we do advise all our users to play around and learn how to use the app. Remember, we've got an Easy Academy if you feel like you're too nervous about investing. We've also got a demo account. So don't let fear eat you up. Hit the demo account, hit the Easy Academy, and we will help you. We will do everything we need to get you investing. Remember, we also got a research portal for all of you who need more research. And we've also got a lot of blogs. And remember, we've got Standra that's sending emails like Becky. So remember, we've got a lot for you guys. So let me get into the questions. I mean, you guys answered most of them that are on this panel that people have asked. Let me just check one out over here. I think this one is directed to you. since you were part of also the Capitec team, people want to know, I see that the new Capitec app has the Easy Equities widget. Is there anything you can tell us about it?
Yeah, so I know the Capitec team, because they built the Easy Equities app inside the Capitec app. So the user experience is slightly different to what you'll find within what you see now in our app. There's some similarities, but obviously it was restrained because we're building within their language. So they've developed their own sort of app or component language inside the Capitec app. But the app will be branded Easy Equities. It's not branded Capitec. It's 100% Easy Equities branded, and all the functionality is similar to what you'll find either in the desktop platform or in the app. They just don't look exactly the same. But there's obviously added benefits there. You've got like direct access to your bank account in there, so you can access it from within as soon as you've activated your Easy Equities widget inside the Capitec app. You can do it all in one destination. So where you can do your banking at the same time as you're investing, which is really cool. And I believe that team is about, I think we're probably a week or so away from making that live. So yeah, all the Capitec users will definitely see a big benefit in the integrated widget inside the Capitec Bank solution. We certainly are very excited about it. And as with our app, that piece of UI and functionality will also update and grow. I mean, this is the nice thing about these things. It's living and breathing elements. So it's not, we don't just build something and then neglect it for a year and then come back and do an app update. That's also one of the benefits, I guess, from building it in the way that we built it, which is HTML wrapped. So we can be quite agile in the way that we make updates to the app. So yeah, so like I said, feedback again is appreciated. So if you feel we made a few mistakes in certain areas, we'd be happy to oblige and try and rectify those.
Awesome. I think this one's for AD. We know, Adriano, we're not all perfect, and we wish we were, and we could give the users 100% working app on you know, when we wanted. But let's address the elephant in the room. What are the bugs that the users have identified, and how long does it take to fix them?
So it's actually been a pretty clean launch from our side. I was, once again, I've got my hand on my wooden desk, but I was probably anticipating more than we got as of now. But like, we have had a few sort of niggles and issues here and there, and like there are still some like data issues and things that we are trying to like resolve. Obviously in terms of like turnaround times and stuff, once a developer is made aware of a code bug, I mean, like a fix can take anywhere between like less than a day to like a few days, just depending on what the issue is. Depending on like what level it's operating at, because obviously, as Almero said, like the system, it has a lot of layers, it has a lot of aspects, it has a lot of touch points that need to be considered as to why something is potentially not behaving correctly. So in terms of bugs, there hasn't been anything like major. I feel like most users have just kind of really been enjoying it, but no, look, I mean, as Almero said, I'm sure people are going to find stuff, and if you find stuff, definitely let us know.
I think there was a small bug initially, because obviously when we do our testing, there's like hundreds of devices out there. So, and when we do our testing, we try and test as many devices as possible, but we can't test 100 devices. So I think one of the small bugs that we experienced was that there was an issue with the logout on certain Android devices. And we identified that. We literally got working on that immediately, and we solved it that same day. So I mean, that's again showing that we can be agile when we actually find bugs. And unfortunately, we just didn't. When we were testing, it never came up in any of the devices that we were testing, and it was a device sort of specific problem that we've now solved. So it's like anything. There's going to be bugs. You can do as much testing as you like pre-launch, but when you've got 500,000 users they become testers, then they're going to highlight certain bugs. I guess
Definitely,
the difference is how quickly you deal with it, allowing the users to identify those bugs and talk about it and expose it to us, and then we'll fix it.
Just to sort of add to that, like I definitely think for this app specifically, it obviously went through the ringer with the business. I mean, I think we had pretty much almost every single business person at the business actually testing this app before it went live. So I definitely have to give props to the whole of Purple Group, just like, posting the feedback, finding bugs, reporting them, telling us things that we need to improve that the users deserve. And like, I just have to give them credit as well, because like there was a lot of feedback, there was a lot of pre-live fixes and things that went in to make sure that the user gets a relatively polished experience on day one.
Awesome. I think we've answered all the questions that our users have, and you guys were brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for being here with us, Almero and AD. I mean, the EasyVestors love hearing from you people, especially the ones that they never see, like the devogs. They have a face, they're not robots. They try to do the best they can, and we do too. Shout out to all the EasyVestors that came through today to watch this webinar. For those of you who are going to watch it later on YouTube, thank you so much for watching it. And I am Lesedi, and from Easy Equities, and we're done. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
awesome.
man.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.